time they were putting honey. And for a long time, And then I saw devotees, they were even, while the honey is flowing, they were putting into the mouth of Lord Narasimha. I saw that for like half an hour standing. I never stood half an hour in the Mayapur temple hall. Continues at one place. And then it passed by 45 minutes. Then after that, water. Then again, they put Ganga water. And then again, honey. Then again, milk. So when I saw that so closely, then I understood that special mercy of Lord Narasimha, which is there in actually Sridham Mayapur. Because when I saw the honey flowing from Lord's body, touching his body, coming down, and we were also practically standing in the Charnamrit only. It was like that situation. All Charnamrit was coming out, it was played around in the front area, and we were standing there only. For my life, I never went so close and saw this Abhishek so elaborately. So when I was seeing that, I was thinking, my God, because this Narasimhadev of Mayapur is very famous. He's very famous to have interaction with the devotees. And we all know the story, how he manifested in Sridham Mayapur, how he manifested. And there are many pastimes of Lord Narasimhadev in Mayapur with the devotees, with the devotees. Like one pastime was, very famous. Narasimhadev has very beautiful stone-like red eyes there in Mayapur. So they changed and they made it bluish red kind of eyes many years ago. So the pujari started getting in his dream a voice. It's there in the book, Pankaj Angri Prabhu writes it. I want my eyes back. Again, after a few days, he couldn't understand what is it about, because his pujari was not so directly involved worshipping. Again, after a few days, got this voice in the dream. I want my eyes back. So then he went and told Pankaj Angri Prabhu. Actually, then he realized that Lord Narasimhadev is not happy with his eyes. Then they changed that eyes. They changed that eyes, and this devotee did not have this dream again. One more pastime when Mataji narrates that she was actually first time visiting Mayapur, and she heard a lot about Lord Narasimhadev, that how he fulfills the desires of devotees. So this Mataji, because she was first time in Mayapur, she wanted to do some service in Mayapur. So she was very intensely praying Darshanarti time. So if you have been to Mayapur, you see Matajis and Prabhus have different queue for Charnamrit. So Pujari came back, called her only, come here, take this and serve in the Mataji's line. He said. So that Mataji told that I didn't know what service I'm asking, but I just wanted to do some service for Lord Narasimhadev. And I was crying and praying for that. Immediately Lord Narasimhadev, from the altar only, Pujari came, said, come here, take this, that side, Mataji's side, serve. She went and did services there. And if you see right after Darshanarti, Pankaj Angri Prabhu is not here with us anymore. We were seen many times though. All over the world, devotees send their prayers to Pankaj Angri Prabhu and Janivas Prabhu. And they put in front of Lord Narasimhadev, they do a puja, and after they do puja, they will put the letters, show one letter, what devotees have sent for Narasimhadev to read it and put it aside. Read it and put it aside. So this is how beautiful Narasimhadev there in Mayapur is. On Narasimha Chaturthi, so I had this great experience. When actually I got an answer. For me, myself, I got the answer. That sitting in the TV and commenting is completely different than going and sitting there and watching this Abhishek. One can actually sit for a lifetime, such Abhishek it is. Just goes on, goes on, goes on. Flower, honey, water, ghee, so rich Abhishek. Very rare to see in South India also, where there are so many temples of Lord Narasimhadev. So, Lord, his form and his deity are non-different. That is why it is said that when one who consistently looks at the deity of the Lord. Actually, there's one story in it comes in Gopal Champu. Actually, so commentary on 10th canto by Sanatana Goswami. One story comes that the gopis, they discuss among themselves that today you don't go to the bank of Yamuna. They said, why? Krishna is dressed very beautifully. His peacock feathers is shining, and his three-folded tribanga, and also playing his flute, and Ganga is very beautifully flowing there. And all the inhabitants of Vrindavan are getting attracted. So it is my warning to all of you, don't go to Yamuna. What does that mean? Yeah, you will get, if you go there, what will you get? You will get attracted. And if you get attracted to Krishna, what will happen? Huh? You will lose taste in material life. You will lose taste in material life. If you go and take darshan of Krishna, you will lose taste in material life. That's why the gopi says what? Don't go to Yamuna because Krishna is in full form. So what does that mean? Radha Govind Maharaj mentions in this commentary, he says that means please go to Yamuna. Please take darshan of Krishna on the bank of Yamuna, so that all our material desires and material life is finished. We have no taste. Anyone has eaten Kerala, raw Kerala, boiled Kerala? It's a medicine eaten by force only. So your material life will become like that for you. Sansar, you will not have taste for. So Lord, I'm taking darshan of the deities. I have my personal experiences whenever I've seen for a long time, seeing Abhishek of the deities consistently right in front of you, live. It has such a deep spiritual experience. We don't even understand that how we are growing in spiritual life by these experiences. Isn't it true? These journeys, it includes everything, the process of whole Krishna consciousness, from taking prasad to go to a yatra, everything. But this material world is such a difficult place. It's such a dangerous space. Gaur Govind Maharaj mentions always, Kali Yuga and the material world. Material world is not a place for a gentleman. Above that, if it is Kali Yuga, only sinful people take birth. Above that, if it is Kali Yuga, what happens? Only sinful people take birth. Did I tell the story last time of a person having a mirror business? No? Why did I tell that story? Maybe in Banaras, BHU, I had gone to give a youth class there. I told. So, you want to know this story? It's a very nice story. Maharaj says this, Gaur Govind Maharaj mentions. He tells that there was one gentleman, and this gentleman had a business of selling mirrors. Selling what? Selling mirrors. So he had a very big dilemma. While selling mirrors, he reached a village where all the citizens in the village were blind. So that was his great dilemma. That, with so difficulty, I traveled, put so much money in transportation, and then landed up at this place where nobody has vision only. He said, even if one person had eyes, at least he could convince others that mirror is worth buying. He even thought, if not one person had two eyes, but even he had one eye. There is one saying, Andho mein kana raja. He said, even had one person who had one eye, at least he could tell everyone mirror is worth buying. Now what I should do? This is my dilemma. And he was in so much pain. So he said that is the situation of Vaishnavas also in this material world. There's a situation of Vaishnavas on the material world. Vaishnavas also have a business. What is this business? Huh? To give Krishna consciousness to everyone. Isn't it true? To spread the holy name. To give Krishna to everyone. But he said that we have landed him in Kali Yuga where people are spiritually blind. Kali Yuga, everyone is spiritually blind. So how do we give Krishna to them now? It's such a big precarious situation. Such a dangerous situation for Vaishnavas that everyone is spiritually blind now. How do we give them Krishna? So then Maharaj tells this story and he laughs and asks, how do we sell now? So there is one hope. What is that hope? What is that hope? Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come with the holy name. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. Even if people are blind spiritually, if their ears are open, and if we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. If we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, indiscriminately give this to the people of this world, there is hopes. And Mahaprabhu to guarantees there is definitely spiritual progress just by chanting the holy name of the Lord. And then Maharaj tells a story that Krishna is attractive. Krishna's name is all attractive. Krishna's name is all attractive and Krishna is also attractive. But Krishna is so attractive that he even gets attracted to his own name, own self. There is one story in Dwarika. Krishna is so beautiful, as I was just mentioning, the gopis mentioning. There is one story while Krishna was passing by in Dwarika once. So Dwarika, we know everything is made of pearls and gold and silver and diamonds, different kind of gems. The whole Dwarika is made of that. So one day when Krishna was passing by in a very beautiful golden pillar, his attention went while he was passing by. So when he was passing by, he saw that, came back, he saw something, and then he saw himself in the mirror and he fainted down on the floor, seeing his own beauty. Seeing his own beauty, Krishna fainted. So then Maharaj was telling that if Krishna cannot see his own beauty, he says that Bimba and Pratibimba. Bimba means one's own form. Pratibimba means reflection of your own form. There is very less scope for Krishna to see his own form. Why? What happens? We just heard. So how does Krishna see himself? How does Krishna see himself? How does Krishna see himself? Okay, that's good also. Through the eyes of devotees. Through the eyes of devotees. I'm not able to visualize it, but also good. Okay, in Jagannath Puri, but it's opposite, no? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of Radharani. It's Radharani seeing Krishna and Krishna seeing Radharani. How does Krishna see himself? So that's one beautiful bhajan. Tumhare hriday sada Govinda Vishra. Actually, Krishna sees himself in the heart of his devotees. The mirror, the only mirror where Krishna can see himself, it is the heart of his devotees. And what is that? When devotees, with utmost sincerity, practice Krishna consciousness. There is no difference between their heart and Krishna because they carry that mood, that teachings of Krishna. When they follow the Vaishnava etiquettes, when they chant their rounds attentively, when they are humble, they are not puffed up. Men are not puffed up about their material success. Women are not puffed up about their material beauty. and they are very attracted to Krishna. When they act in this way, they become so beautiful. And in that beautiful heart, Krishna resides. And when Krishna sees such devotees, he sees in their heart himself. So that is the mirror the Lord sees himself. Beautiful, no? Story? So we should always remember from this that we understand that it is such a great responsibility of a Vaishnava to develop the qualities which a Vaishnava should have. The quality of being prideless, not being envious, being humble, not arguing unnecessary. This material world is a difficult place when you are not in association of devotees. It's quite tough to develop these qualities. That is why we have to plan our life in such a way that we are always in association of devotees. We should not practice Krishna consciousness like like they say that there is a lot of suffering in this material world. There is still pleasure, and Prabhupada gives an example in one of his purports. Srila Prabhupada. What is that example? This is the pleasure in the material world is equal to a person who's drowning in the water and suddenly comes up and breathes a little bit and again goes down. Isn't it true? So that breathing when he comes up is actually a big pleasure. Isn't it true? But again, such a big suffering. Isn't it true? Again, such a big drowning, drinking the water and finally dies. Isn't it true? People die in the water out of fear. More. So similarly, in the material world, these pleasures of this material world, they are like this. They're drowning in the water. Just you come up a little bit, you'll get pleasure. We have to design our life in such a way that we always spend time with association of devotees. Specifically, most of the devotees, grihasthas, we should always know that we should our life's planning should not be keep investing. Somehow or other, this is a culture in the material world, especially in the cities, because you live your villages and you're only insecure in the cities. Isn't it true? City life is insecurity. Isn't it true? एक घर हो जाएंगे, सैलरी बढ़ रहा है तो दूसरे पे लोन लेके डाल देंगे, और इसका हो गया तो तीसरे पे डाल देंगे. अरे ये म्यूचुअल फंड अच्छा दे रहा है, फिर इसको जाएगा, small. It is starting from small housewife also. One devotee is there, Monica Machad. She does this LIC policies she used to do earlier before her marriage. She was telling that even Matajis who does stitching business, she'll come running after saving 4, 5, 7,000 rupees and put on daughter's name. After 18 years, when she get married, she will get it. And she said, "Mere pati ko mat batana." No, we don't say that, this is all completely wrong. But without Krishna consciousness, without understanding the ultimate goal of life, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult. It's very incomplete and it's always insecure. We're always living like thieves. Kya hoga, kya nahi hoga? It's like, there is the Radheshyam Prabhu gives a beautiful story. He said that if a normal man sees a police and passing by, he's cool. Or he's passing through a police station, he's very. Have you anyone got scared? Are police station? No, never, no, not like that. But imagine a thief is passing by the police station. Imagine a thief is passing by a police station, and by mistake, police wala says, "Hey!" So we are living in this material world like this. Rasha was telling, we are living in this material world like this, completely, because we get everything from Krishna. We get everything from Krishna. Everything. The sun is Krishna's energy, moon is Krishna's energy, water is Krishna's energy, air is Krishna's energy. This to nobody can register. House you can register, land you can register. Correct? Gold you can buy and keep in a safe. All this you can do. But even all these things is all Krishna's energy. But when you take someone else's possession, use someone else's position, and don't pay back or don't recognize it, you are considered ungrateful by not recognizing it, and by taking it, you're considered as thief. So it's very natural that you will be insecure. That is one of the reasons, we have these artis also. I remember when I was young, Radheshyam Prabhu used to give classes. So you explain the meaning of Aarti which we offer. We offer Aarti to the deities, no? First we offer the flowers, First we offer the fire. Fire it represents so many things. And one of the things it represents is the fire of digestion. If there's no fire in the stomach, can you digest your food? No. It always represents the sun. If there's no energy from the sun, which is heat, can we get anything? No. Then there is flower. Flower is a symbol that Lord, all this beauty what we are enjoying is by you. And we are offering it to you. And remembering that it is your prasad, we will enjoy in this world. Agarbatti, everyone likes, you go to the airports, my God, it's like the most expensive things are perfumes there, But, we all know that we offer it to the Lord every day morning and we take it and we know that, agarbatti is a sign of that fragrance that my Lord, this fragrance in this world which we enjoy is coming from you. We offer it to you first and accept this, everything like your prasad in this way. So that is how, as I was telling that in this world, we are so insecure, especially like Grihasthas. So we are born and brought up in the cities, or we are brought up in the small towns and they come to cities for jobs. Isn't it true? But then we become insecure. That's the nature of this material world, But when we come to Krishna consciousness, we should plan our life in such a way, at least Grihasthas, that the suffering which we are going through to become a better devotee, our children should not go through that. You don't have children. You're telling but our children should not go to. But it's good. In advance, you're ready for it. She told me, yes, Prabhuji. That's why it is coming. We should plan in such a way. This reminds me of a nice story of Ramayana. You want to hear that? Very nice story. So when Lord Ramachandra, he was living for Vanvas for 14 years. So the whole Ramayana's beauty is so nice that Lord Rama, when he's living, actually it's not, it's a very great teaching. When Lord Rama was told that Kaikai, when Dasharath Maharaj could not tell and he fainted. So the Kaikai told that, Ram, I will tell you. I will tell you provided you give me a vow that you will fulfill what I say. Then Lord Rama, he actually becomes very sad and tells Mother Kaikai that my heart pains to hear that you have a doubt that I will not follow if you say something. You want me? I'll just give you my head right now. So then Kaikai also shakes and she tells that, you see, I have given your son, your father has given me 2 boons and I asked him for the first boon that Bharat should become the king, and the second boon, Ram you should go for 14 years to the forest. And he heard this and this is the situation. So then Lord Rama tells, the story goes on. Rama tells that, actually, Bhaktivikas Maharaj writes it beautifully, and also Radha Govind Maharaj, I heard even Radha Govind Maharaj speaking it. He said that Rama had a beautiful smile on his face. And then he said, this much only. He said, that's it. Bas itna sahi, Mate, bas itna. If you wanted this, you should have told me long before. I would have left Ayodhya and nobody would come to know where I am, and I would have not seen my father in this situation. Great King Dasharath. Like this, and he tells and walks off. And of course, Dasharath wakes up and tells her, don't do this, don't do this, Rama. You become the king of Ayodhya at the strength of the sword, but don't do this. Lord Ramachandra goes ahead. And then he goes ahead as if, a husband tells the wife, I'll be late today. He tells Mother Sita that he explains the whole thing. This happened, then this happened. Mother Kaikai told me this, so I am going 14 years. And Mother Sita has tears in her eyes, tears in her eyes. They said, my father has told me this is my duty. Of course, Ramayana somewhere is mentioned, Lord Ramachandra personally tells this to Sita to check Sita. So then there's a big conversation actually, that also will take one lecture between Mother Sita and Lord Ramachandra. And Mother Sita's conclusion was that your father told you a duty, and my father told me that from today, I'm giving you to the great king Rama, and you are half of his. They say, no, wife is a Ardhangini. So your pains and pleasures are half for me, And for me, wherever you stand, that is Ayodhya. So I'll go with you. And then the story goes by Lakshman comes. And Lakshman heard the whole thing. And he says, you're not going anywhere. Today I will kill everyone. Dasharath, I'll chop up his head. Bharat will come. I will send him. I will bury him alive. Shatrughan will interfere everywhere, and his whole kingdom, everything will be finished today, and he will become the king. And then Lord Rama chastises. Then he falls at his feet and says that, please take me. Others, I will end up what I am doing. Speaking. I have no other purpose to live in this world except being your servant. Here comes the beautiful story. Lord Rama looks at Mother Sita. Mother Sita, indicates that Lakshman is Lakshman, So they were in a dilemma what to do. This dilemma Lord Ramachandra had. So he says that, he tells Lakshman that do one thing. You go to your mother, Sumitra, and she is the authority who actually can give you permission. So you please go to Devi Sumitra and request her. So Lakshman went running with tears in his eyes. Like if you've seen a small child coming running to the mother crying, like that Lakshman goes and falls at the feet of Sumitra Devi and cries. So Sumitra could not understand what happens. And then he wakes up, folds his hand, and he begs her. He tells her the whole thing, what has happened. And he begs her that I want your permission. Without your permission, Ramachandra, King Rama, he will not accept me as his servant. He will not take me as a servant to serve Devi Sita and him. So when he tells this, so Sumitra stands there and she has tears flowing from her eyes. Tears flowing from her eyes. Her voice is choked when she saw her son Lakshman in this situation. And then she tells that, he said, today, by hearing this from you, I consider my body is purified. I am proud that you are born from my body. He said, go my son, there is no other purpose for your existence except serving Rama. There is no other purpose for your existence except serving Rama. When Radha Govind Maharaj was giving a class, he told, हर माँ और बाप को यही सोचना चाहिए, मेरा पुत्र का जन्म केवल किसके लिए हुआ है? भगवान की सेवा के, प्रभु राम कृष्ण की सेवा के. So I was just mentioning that is how every mother and father should look. Material things you cannot give. I was just giving yesterday morning a class. Yesterday morning I gave a class to the youths of Warangal. So they saw my sons sitting there, so they had some crazy questions. How they will do, what they will do after they go out from Gurukul, this, that. I said, Prabhupada mentions that आदमी के शरीर में तो उसके कर्म से ज्यादा एक बाल भी नहीं आएगा. You understand? Beyond your karma, there won't be even one hair on your body. What material things we can give to our family and society? It is all destined. There's nothing that we earn and then only they will get. It's not like that. Whatever is destined, it will come. But we have to do work to keep our body fit. Some karma has to be there. Some action has to be there, no? Isn't it true? So based on our karma, we all are performing some action. But we should not be in illusion that this action is going to make my children's future or हम लोग को बोलते हैं दुनिया में आगे ले जाएगा. आगे ले जाएगा. And that's the saying, no? बहुत आगे बढ़ गया है तो अभी, right? कुछ नहीं, it's nothing. It doesn't work like that at all. It's just based on karma. When one has faith on these things, then from there we can understand actually what is Krishna consciousness, what is devotional service. From there, when we have faith and we take up the austerity to wake up early in the morning, chant our rounds, follow the regulative principles, associate with devotees, follow japa very sincerely. For me also applicable. Once Giriraj Maharaj was giving a class, so he was telling me, it was a japa reform class actually, japa reform workshop. So Maharaj was explaining, he very beautifully explained the 10 offenses. And then after speaking the 10 offenses, what do we say? It is also to be of, it is also of peace to be inattentive while chanting. So Maharaj said that this one act, he said this one thing which Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions, that it is also offensive to be inattentive while chanting. He said that if one is very attentive in his chanting, actually he can get rid of all the 10 offenses. Knowingly or unknowingly, if one has committed offenses. So one can get rid of those offenses just by following this, that being attentive while japa. Especially we are attending while our chanting. If you're very attentive while our japa, we'll actually get complete shelter of the holy name. Complete shelter of the holy name, and it will protect us. It will protect us. And praying, of course, right before starting our japa only in our temple life, we offer the prayers to the spiritual master, looking at the deities. Then we have Narsimha Arati, isn't it true? To give us protection, protect our spiritual life. And then we have Tulasi Arati, So Narsimha Arati, Prabhupada actually very much emphasized devotees while traveling, devotees while difficulties also. Because in Narsimha Chaturthi, so there was many beautiful pastimes also we heard about how the Lord protects and how Narasimhadev is very, very protective of the body. So we should have this very, very prayerful heart and prayerful mind. In this way, we'll progress in our spiritual life. One of the very important thing what Srila Prabhupada taught was that taking anxiety. This is one of my very favorite pastimes. I told this yesterday also, day before yesterday also, 10 days before also. It's very famous. I must have told you all many times, One day Srila Prabhupada, he visited one project. I think it's Mumbai or Vrindavan. I don't know. One of the places where Tamal Krishna Maharaj was the GBC and he's taking care of the construction. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj was very disturbed. Very, very disturbed. Why he was disturbed? Because of the construction services, he was always in so much anxiety that he could not concentrate on his chanting. Sometimes. So when Prabhupada came, he told Srila Prabhupada. When Prabhupada came, he said, Prabhupada, I'm not able to do my chanting and I'm not able to be attentive because of all these things. And he gave a list of things. Cement bags, I have to see if their contractor is cheating, X, Y, Z reasons. And that's why he said, I quit. So Prabhupada heard all these things. It is said that Tamal Krishna Maharaj was one of the only disciples who had this kind of conversation with Prabhupada, who could argue with Prabhupada. And Prabhupada also used to argue with him like a grandfather argues with a son. And nobody could do that. That is why it is said in the last days of Srila Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna Maharaj was Prabhupada's mouth and ears. Whatever devotees wanted to say, Prabhupada, they had to say. Tamal Krishna Maharaj used to say. Whatever Prabhupada wanted to convey, he could understand, he could go closer, hear from Prabhupada, recheck with Prabhupada, and then tell others. It was very close. So Prabhupada, when he heard that, I quit. So Srila Prabhupada, after a while, he said, even I quit. And then when Prabhupada saw this, Tamal Krishna Maharaj was like, taken aback. You make Prabhupada. It was already 70s. He was already Acharya, so many temples, so many disciples. And he said, I also quit. Like that, Prabhupada had choked voice, and he kept quiet. So both were silent. He writes that it was like 30 seconds, both were silent in the room, after both telling each other that we quit. So after some time, Prabhupada said, but our anxiety to serve Krishna will take us back home, back to Godhead. Our anxiety to serve Krishna will take us back home, back to Godhead. So 2 stories I told about attentive japa. Another story, because of service, one is not able to chant attentively. Purposely I told these 2 stories. We don't come in both category. So we, uh, our category is what I tell you. One day, one devotee went to Radhesham Prabhu. He told that, Prabhuji, when I am, you know the story? Famous story. I always share this also. He said, when I am chanting my rounds, it happens with me also. All the ideas of the world comes at that time. All what I can do, how good I am, what good I can do. Everything comes at that time, especially at that time. But as soon as I remove my hand from the beat bag, the mind is so peaceful. As soon as I remove my hand from the beat bag, my mind is, all of us experience this, no? So Shambhu told a beautiful answer. He said, my dear child, he said, when you are chanting, it is the glories of the holy name that introduce you to your mind, how it is. What your mind is, people think I'm great, I'm not. What you are, you come to know how much you are steady when you are chanting. Just memorizing some chapters and writing exam doesn't make one person intelligent and steady. Now getting a piece of paper which is a certificate, and this is the modern civilization. The certificate is also designed in such a way, modern education, that you get a degree and then you go to different companies. Sir, I'm very intelligent person. Here is the paper, a proof of it. Accept me. So he said that when you are chanting, you are introduced to your mind. But when you are not chanting, when you are not chanting or doing devotional service, you are peacefully sleeping in the laps of Maya and listening to Maya, whatever she says. Whatever she says. When we are not doing our japa or devotional service, what are we doing? Peacefully sleeping in the lap of Maya, and Maya was patting us, sahi socha raha hai, ekdam sahi socha raha. It is the holy name which introduces us to the mind, and then by consistently beating the mind, Bhakti Siddhanta says, you know what he says? Take a evening with shoe. He said, take a broom, 100 times beat her head, the broom. And then evening, after you come back from your work, take the shoe, throw all those thoughts which come while working out by beating your head with the shoe. Like that. So it is very, very important. Holy name, chanting of the holy name, and coming across, coming specially across, introducing ourselves to Krishna consciousness by, especially in the line of Srila Prabhupada. It is actually a very, very great fortune. It's a very, very great fortune. I was today with Narottam Prabhu in the Bhaktivedanta Mission School. So I had one more very nice experience this week. So one of our very senior devotees, Kapila Prabhu, he lost his son last week, almost 10 days ago. He lost his young son. So I know him from the late 80s. I know the family. So I went and I spoke a little bit, but then they had come to immerse the ashes of their son to Mayapur. So I had the fortune to assist him, be around him, serve him prasadam. I saw that throughout he was in Mayapur, he was only chanting. And whenever I was talking, he was talking to me, after that again chanting. Throughout. Very committed person, very committed leader. Many, many devotees he has made. So my Guru Maharaj, his name is Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj, he was there in Mayapur. So I informed Maharaj this happened. Maharaj said, I would like to meet him. So I called him. So they had an interaction. So Maharaj stood to talk to him, partially hugged him, and he said, Kapila, I'm very sorry to hear this. And he said, Maharaj, I'm absolutely fine. Please don't worry. He said, I'm absolutely fine. Please don't worry. He said like this. Then, it's okay, let them. Chalega, chalega. My class mein chalega. So then Maharaj looked at him, and then he told a very nice story from Chaitanya Charitamrita. He told that when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was doing Sankirtan in the house of Srivas Thakur, Srivas Thakur's in the night he used to do. So Srivas Thakur's son, he actually was sick. And Mahaprabhu's, when Sankirtan was going on, every day night Mahaprabhu used to do Sankirtan. You know. So his son, actually he was sick, he left his body, passed away. And the women were crying loudly. So Srivas Thakur pacified the women in the house and told, don't cry. Lord Chaitanya Sankirtan is going on, that should not be disturbed. Women are women. They show आंसू, they said the माता जी के आंसू आंख में नहीं हाथ में होते हैं, ऐसे छोड़ देंगे सीधा. So women are women, so they were crying. So then Srivas Thakur said that if you cry like this, then I will go and commit suicide in Ganga if Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan is disturbed. So Maharaj was narrating this whole pastime. And then all the ladies stopped. And when after the Kirtan was stopped, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Srivas and said, today's Kirtan, I did not feel very ecstasy. In today's Kirtan, I was feeling some pain. And then Srivas Thakur said, no, my Lord, wherever you are, there is only pleasure and ecstasy only. He said, no, but today's Kirtan. And then one devotee told Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that Srivas Thakur, son passed away in today night's Kirtan. When Mahaprabhu heard this, he had tears in his eyes. Srivas, why you did not inform me? Why you did not inform me this has happened? Such a great loss has happened. So Srivas did not say anything, you know. And then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is what exactly Maharaj said. He said, he pointed out at the boy who has left his body. And he told him, hey, why are you leaving the house of Srivas and going away? Immediately that boy stood. That boy stood and came to life. Then he said that, who? What? Who father? Who mother? And then he preached that by the laws of nature, by our karma, someone becomes a mother, someone becomes a father, someone becomes a son. And then he preaches this and folds his hand and puts his request that kindly allow me to go and do my business further. And then he leaves again. So Maharaj very nicely told this last part of the pastime that Srivas Thakur's son requested Srivas that please allow me to go forward in my journey, whatever business I have to do that. And Maharaj said that this is how this material world is. We all come together due to our karma. And when one's time is up, one has to move ahead. Nobody is going to wait. Yesterday, when I was giving class to students, I told them, if you want to do something for your parents, take their old age. Can you? They'll be happy if they become young. But can you do that? No. If they have a headache, you take that headache. Can you? Nothing. And if money is what gives us happiness, then you can see the life of rich people. They're isolated, more fearful, and with all the pleasures of this world, they're very insecure. It's not the money which gives happiness. It's Krishna consciousness. By chanting the holy name, it's Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, and hearing about Krishna's pastime. This is what gives satisfaction, happiness to the soul, who originally we are. And human form is only meant for this business. What? Chanting the holy name and hearing about Krishna. Somehow or other in our life, we should pray to the Lord that put me in this situation that I can do this always. That is why I started with this, that if you go and see Krishna, then what will happen? Material life will be finished. So we don't see Krishna. That's why we have so much of a material life. We see Krishna, but we don't see him also. It is like that. To see Krishna, we should read about Krishna. When you see Krishna's flute, you should remember pastimes of the flute. When you see the lotus feet of Krishna, you should remember how Tulsi is always situated at his feet. You should have reading every day, regularly reading Prabhupada's books, hearing lectures. This is how we can live, make our life perfect. Just like I heard in a class, he said Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was living in Jagannath Puri, he used to, whenever he used to be free, every day he used to go to the house of Gadadhar Pandit and tell Gadadhar Pandit to read Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said Mahaprabhu heard more than 100 times. Actually, Bhakti Vigna Vinayaka Nrsimha Maharaj was telling that Mahaprabhu heard more than 100 times Prahlad Maharaj's pastime, and similar number of times Dhruva Maharaj's pastime. They were his favorite. He used to go and Gadadhar open the read seventh canto, Prahlad pastimes, and then he would hear ecstasy. Prahlad is surrender, small boy, not fearful. And Mahaprabhu used to be in ecstasy hearing. We should have that eagerness to read and hear Srimad Bhagavatam. And in conclusion, Maharaj told a very beautiful thing, that he said Navadip Dham is very special because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Narasimhadev, in Kali Yuga, he appeared in Mayapur Dham. Anyone knows how? How he appeared in Mayapur Dham in Kali Yuga? Anybody knows? Perfect. When Chandkazi's people broke the Mridanga of Srivas Angan, that night at Navadip, where Chandkazi was living, Lord Narasimhadev appeared in his dream and he was tearing his chest into pieces. And then next day morning, when Chandkazi had a meeting with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he opened his chest and showed a very ferocious person, half lion and half man. He came in my dream because I disturbed your Sankirtan. And look at this, his nails marks are there. He wanted to tear my chest into pieces. And Maharaj was telling that we are so fortunate that on Narasimha Chaturthi day he was telling this class that the Lord appeared. In a similar way, in whatever difficulties we are, many devotees after the class say that, Prabhuji, aapne to sahi bola, magar hum log kaisa hai. Everyone has their own story, like that. But if you pray to Lord, He will help immediately. If you pray to the Lord, I am in this situation and I want to do this, kindly help me. Prabhupada told this, I'll conclude with this. Prabhupada told actually in the Vrindavan temple, one devotee after the Krishna Balram temple opened, he went with a list of complaints to Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, come here, do one thing. Go there in front of Krishna Balram, fold your hands and say, like this. Practically, he said, say, my dear sir, I have this and this problems, please help me. Pray like this, he said. Huh? Acha, Tamal Krishna Maharaj only, see. He told the Tamal Krishna Maharaj only, you go stand in front of Krishna Balram and tell them, my dear sir, my dear sir, don't take a quick darshan. Pray fast and leave, Material desires are so strong that you cannot pray also. Jaldi bhago. Not like this. You pray. And then Lord will. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki. Any questions?
Thank you for giving the answer. And you told that as an endeavor, the way that Krishna says that I am one thing senses. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sri Thakur Maharaj explained that it should be beaten with the shoes and boot. So how it is understood that?
No. What did you say before that, Srila Prabhupada?
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Sri Thakur explains that mind is to be beaten with shoes and boots. How it is to be understood that is a form of Krishna. So how we should take it that?
What is the form of Krishna?
When Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita that mind is senses. And mind is taken as per Bhakti Siddhanta Sri Thakur. So how we should understood it that in what sense Bhakti Siddhanta Sri Thakur Maharaj is explaining this?
Which is this word Krishna says, I am the mind and senses?
Krishna says in the 7th chapter various things. Mind. This question is
so what happens now? There are two ways to look at it. When Krishna is saying this, is one way to look at it. Second thing is when we are reading to it, we are not at that platform that everything is the Lord in the form of His energies. Actually, we are making a movie on this, We're making a professional movie on this. That when you say, like for example, the sun comes inside the window. So you say Surya aa gaya. Surya sahi mein aa gaya? There's energy, there is energetic. Correct? When Krishna said that I am everything, that is his energy. So energy and energetic is not different, but at the same time, they are also different. When घर पे से खिड़की से sun आता है तो sun तो नहीं आता है. Sun आएगा तो घर ही पूरा जल जाएगा. It's sun rays which comes, right? So we have to understand that when Krishna says I'm all these things, it is about his energy. Now, for us, are we seeing everything as Krishna's energy? When we start seeing that, then this verse is applicable. When it is not, then what Bhakti Siddhanta said is applicable. Right? Rathapu, you want to add something? When that is not, then you should actually take the shoe and you should actually be Badamash. I did 1-2 times personally in my room without even saying. Just to follow what it is said. But that heart is only not there. We feel we are so great. So difficult to do this actually. But it's practically true. Very difficult to do. But if one does it, he will 100% grow in spiritual life. Because Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is select. Remembering, you have to remember what all material desires you have, what all you are attached to, and you should tell your mind and beat. One should, not you, one should. Whoever feels should do. And then you say it will work. Because Acharya is telling. You got it? Any other questions? So I'll stop here. Thank you very much. Shri Prabhupada ki. No, 1 minute. Everyone can be seated. Should I tell something? Thank you, Father. No, I'm be happy. Yeah.
Just
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So tomorrow we have MSF book distribution at Juhu Beach, 5 p.m. 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So all of you are invited to come. Please come. The next couple of weeks we'll have before the monsoon starts. So let us participate in book distribution. So please come. And coming Saturday, 11 a.m., Atul Krishna Prabhu will give class here. So coming Saturday, we'll have class at 11 a.m. because Prabhuji is leaving that day. He's giving back. So coming Saturday, 11 a.m. and tomorrow, 5 p.m. Juhu Beach. Please don't just nod your heads. Please do come. Those who don't come, then just like this mind with a shoe, we'll come with a shoe behind you. Please do come. Hare Krishna.
11 a.m. Saturday. Saturday evening, Shrutakirti Prabhu.
That we can do for everyone.
Okay. Hare Krishna. So today there is one more very nice announcement. We actually are very fortunate that we have amongst us Shriman Shri Acharanji, father of Gangarani Mataji. He's sitting with us, and also the father of Chaitanya Avatar Prabhu. Chaitanya Avatar Prabhu, all of you know, is one of the leaders in the BYC, in the temple. He is the Brahmachari council member. He is also the president of the Hyderabad New Temple. He has made so many devotees, so many youths, and one of the ideal devotees in the whole ISKCON Juhu Temple. And I don't need to introduce Gangarani Mataji, wife of Narottam Prabhu, and all of you have sheltered under her. So we have their father with us today, and we would just like to welcome him by loudly once chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram. And we also would like to thank that such beautiful devotees he has given to this material world, especially the ISKCON movement. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. And we also have today the birthday of Jagannath Gauranga Prabhu. Many of you know him, but for all of us in Juhu Temple, myself, Narottam Prabhu, Chaitanya Avatar Prabhu, Srivas Prabhu, Nitai Madhav Prabhu, he has been a very great support. Temple is a spiritual abode, but whenever there is management, there are some ups and downs, wherever there is management. But anything against us in the temple, he will come running to inform us, alert us, you know. "Hey, Prabhu ji, वो लोग ऐसे plan कर रहे हैं, आप लोग meeting में आने वाला है, आप लोग ready रहना, ध्यान रहना." So he's such a beautiful Vaishnav. He always, wants to serve, help, and somehow that all of us in BYC has a very, very special relation with him. Today was his birthday. Today is his birthday, and he's a very nice preacher also. Very, very nice preacher. One day I had taken him with me to Kopargaon, youth preaching. So he gave a youth class. All the youth were finished. He went to a village and he speaks very simple because he's from a small town. He said, "Kyun aaye hum log ye jagat mein? Bhagwan ke dhaam jaane." So see, he cannot speak because it's natural simplicity they speak with. So in one village, people were crying. Villagers were crying only hearing his class. Such simplicity he has. So we are very fortunate to have his association also. Sandipani Prabhu, any chance? Answering Sandipani Prabhu.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी 5 मिनट है इधर आइए ना ऊपर में जाओ सीताराम रूम आप आइए ना कभी है
So we'll have the cake here for his birthday. I asked him today morning, evening, he came to my office. I said, "What I can do for you?" He said, "कुछ खाएंगे?" बोला, "वो तो रोज खाते हैं." बोला, "मंदिर से कुछ खाएंगे?" बोला, "मंदिर में तो खाते हैं हम लोग रोज." I told him, "Please come. We would like to have a cake for you, cutting for you."
आइए ना प्लीज 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 आइए
It is, no? Get one more chair. नहीं, मेरा माला कैसे दूंगा? नहीं. Hare Krishna, we are waiting for one more devotee who's coming. His name is Sandipani Krishna Prabhu. By then